Hi, everyone, I have done PvE rank in the previous video. And this time I do PvP rank. So, let's get to it. And you can see that Noah is dominant over another character in the top 10 PvP, which is as I expect. But I'm very surprised that Laby was not even in this top 10. And I will not try to find the reason why, but just look at the rank only. Let's look at the top 10 for each character. In this video, I will focus on how many star rank of each character has instead of the number of ranks. An Elboy has 10. Six-star rank for Aiisha. Rena also has 6-star rank too. Raven has 10-star rank like Elboy. Eve also has 10-star rank too. Chung has 10. Wow, what going on with Era on this server? She is supposed to be super strong in PvP, but the rank is not looking good to me. Well, whatever, the fact was told me that Era just has only 1-star rank. Elesis has 10. Ad has 8. Ciel has 7. I thought that Rose will not have any star rank. And I know who is that Rose star rank. I'm surprised that I have just 2-star rank. Well, I will not try to find the reason but believe in the fact. Yeah, Laby has 10 for sure, and I didn't need to watch it. And I don't need to watch the rank for this character as well. Because he's so overpowered in PvP. Well, I didn't have much to say when looking at the rank of each character. But I will talk in the conclusion later. And this here is the average rank for each character. I will try to cover everything in this conclusion, but not in depth into every detail of each character. Elboy doing really well in PvP content according to the rank. And his aggressive playstyle with his super armor buff and mana cost cut makes most of the Elboy in PvP look unstoppable when gains enough mana. And can delete the opponent's HP bar while you go crazy and spam 100 mana skill to repeat catching your opponent. Elboy can also one-shot combo too. And this is maybe the reason why Elboy's rank is very high. So, his 100 mana skill cooldown and super armor buff are too overpowered. Tone it down by adding the cooldown to those skills. Especially his super armor buff, and replace the trait that has decreased mana's use for those skills into increase the size or damage instead. Aiisha has the advantage of mana when coming to PvP. And the teleport skill makes Aiisha become a character that has very high mobility and survivability and can catch up to her opponent very easily with her teleport too. And she has many offensive skills in her catching tools like black holes, homing, mana burn, stun lock, etc. And she can also make a one-shot combo too. I think her rank is a little bit low with her performance. For me, I'm okay with Aiisha having a mana advantage in PvP. But her teleport and her catching tool offensive skills should be toned down a little bit by adding a cooldown to the teleport skill when rising up. And removing the black holes effect and stun lock in some of her offensive skill makes sense to me. Rena is similar to Aiisha that has the advantage in mana when coming to PvP. And Rena is the character that has a command with long range which is good in PvP. And most of her PvP skill is a homing skill and can make Rena repeatable catching her opponent until her opponent die. And can also one-shot kill too. But the character that has a command with a long range generally has poor mobility. Even Animos's mobility is good, but not that good if you comparing to Nose. And that is the only downside for Rena. But I think her rank is a little bit low for her performance. For me, the only thing that makes Rena overpower in PvP is her Nature's Force passive that gains 15 mana per nature orb after awakening. Cut the gaining mana in half for only PvP. I think it makes sense. Raven is similar to Elboy but with more survivability, and his second class has a passive that makes Raven can be able to awaken several times, and yeah, with time stop as well. And Raven is very good at one-shot people in PvP, especially in his second and third classes. And having 10-star rank on the website makes sense. So, for me, his damage is too much sometimes. Especially skill Bursting Blade, just a 200 mana skill but can almost one-shot kill people, and Devastate Strike is a meme for a one-punch man that can use in the mid-air. And Bursting Blade already has the additional buff after using it, so this skill should be a buffing skill, not a pure damage skill. And Devastate Strike should not be able to use in the mid-air for only PvP. So what is the point for Minerva that was a specialist in the mid-air fight in this game while many characters can also use their skill in mid-air too? Yeah, what I wanna say is, Raven can kill the opponent very easily when he has enough mana, and his main damage skill is too easy to use. So, making it harder to use those skills makes sense. Eve is very strong in PvP with her notorious flying like a mosquito and her laser. Which is not surprising to see her rank this high. She has many skills that can also use in the mid-air too. Her flying ability and can be able to use the skill in mid-air make her become one of the strongest PvP characters. So, yeah. Her mobility is the main reason for Eve to become overpowered in PvP, and her laser was also tracking the opponent, which is a strong catching tool for Eve. And with the skill that can use in the midair combined with her flying ability makes Eve can catch the opponent with ease. So, making her flying command requires mana to fly if flying consecutive more than one time. And her laser will make the hit stun only in the first hit. Chung can be considered one of the most overpowered characters in PvP, and his rank was already told you that he is very strong. He is the only character that has a heavy stance that allows Chung to counter and evade while getting attacked, and also can counter or evade the attack while guarding too. That means, Chung can have the chance to evade while attacked more than one time while other characters have just one. And his overall command makes his mobility suit to PvP very much too, like some of his commands can cancel the mana break while another character has none. Chung can also be able to jump up into a high floor to catch the opponent while most of the characters can't jump as high as Chung. Chung has a command that works well by spamming that command at a very low cost. And Chung also has many homing and black holes skills in his catching tool too. Chung has many overpower support skills in PvP, especially tactical field can deal damage when used and grant super armor to self and allies nearby, and that field is movable too. And Chung mana's gain is also very good too if compared to another character. Yeah. Chung has everything, and I don't want to go in depth more than this in this video, so for me, you should be focusing on nerfing will make sense. His run jump X command should require mana to perform that move, if not have cannonballs in stock. Or any cannonball and shooting command must require mana to perform if not have cannonballs in stock. And lower the damage of the skill that has an offensive effect or buffing like tactical field and heavy field down to a decent level. Yeah, skills that have the buff, debuff, or any offensive effect should not have high damage, especially in PvP. And tone down the homing skill, especially Cannon Strike and Bullet Blitz, which were super overpower in PvP and can be repeatedly used with low mana cost and cooldown, but the result is too much for just a 100 mana skill. And yeah, the heavy stance in PvP should have a chance to block damage only and not be able to make a counter only in PvP. Well, it has many things that you need to work on in this character, especially nerfing. And just please go and look at the balance board. Ara's rank is weird. She is supposed to be one of the strongest PvP characters in the game, but yeah, just leave her be until she becomes popular in PvP. Elesis is the character that was likely designed for PvP more than PvE. And I'm not surprised that her rank will be this high. Her mobility and catching tools are good, but the only thing that I want to complain about is her insane damage. Toned down her damage in PvP is make sense to me. Ad is similar to Elboy, which has a low cooldown and low cost on his catching tool and can be able to recovery mana after using the skill while awakened and recovery DP after using the skill when not awakened, while another character can use other resources for only active skill. And his gaining mana ability is too good. So, cut his gaining mana ability down to 60% only in PvP and increase the cooldown in the skill that was easy to spam, especially Starfall. Even after this, Ad will still be fine and the player will adapt to it soon. About Ciel, I'm not have much complaint to this character other than her first class's damage. And I think Lu and Ciel should share the same mana bar together. Rose's performance and her rank look make sense. Rose is an example for a bad design in Elsword game that didn't fit well to the game. She has many unnecessary movement in her command and skill. And you feel like you play a realistic shooting game that has knockback recoil of the gun, and her skill hitbox is very hard to aim sometime in PvP. and that force Rose player to play in passive mode while other character can mostly aggressive in PvP. Even though the Rose's design gameplay was force her to play in passive, but her survivability and her mobility can be considered poorest in the game. And her lacking in the first advantage move, which is very important in PvP, and very limited chance to get the first hit because of require too much mana to just for using command. And Rose's player brain process can be mess up with her overstrike passive that can make the player confuse about what they need to do first, and yeah, without overstrike, her damage is just shit. And yeah, this character should be reworked for almost everything to can fit to the game well like others' character. An Elsword game is an RPG fantasy game, not some realistic shooting game or walking fashion show game that need to have a fancy movement or fancy posting when using skill. And it's not make sense for the character that can kill a massive powerful monster with one skill can't be able to handle the gun recoil. I'm also a Rose main. And I will make a video for Rose rework in the future video. Ain was considered good in PvP because of his mobility and can be able to deal massive damage at a low cost. But his rank encouraged me to say, just leave him be. Laby is strong, Laby is broken, and the cur people on the balance board love to say, Laby is a scam character. Well, I agree with that. Because she makes the PvP in Elsword forever change into the new meta of flying or high mobility character for a new character, and new fourth class as a standard of creating the new character and the new class. Yeah, her flying command and a long range command should require to use of the mana too. Laby just has the strong point from AD, which is a low cooldown of the catching skill. She also has high mobility and high damage like Ain first class too. She can also be crazy and aggressive like Elboy, who has a skill super armor buff with low cooldown skill overall. Yeah, Laby is so broken, and you can look at the fact of the rank. And focusing on nerfing her is not wrong. Noah is at the first rank in this PvP list. Noah is very similar to Lady but with higher mobility and survivability. Some of his commands should require mana to perform like a long-range command too. And like I said in the previous video, focusing on nerfing his offensive skill for PvP makes sense. And this is all for the video. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.
Huh? Huh? What happened? What? What the hell?